The story of the Mary Celeste is a haunting melody played on the strings of maritime history, a vessel that became a legend. She began her life not as the Mary Celeste, but as the Amazon, built in Nova Scotia in 1861. Her early years were fraught with misfortune, a prelude to the greater mystery to come. Her first captain fell ill and died on her maiden voyage, an ominous beginning. She later collided with another vessel in the English Channel, suffering significant damage. After running aground, she was sold and repaired, eventually finding her way to American owners. In 1868, she was renamed the Mary Celeste, a name that would soon be whispered across the globe. Her new captain was Benjamin Spooner Briggs, a man known for his integrity and skill. Captain Briggs was a devout Christian and a teetotaler, respected by all who knew him. He decided to bring his wife, Zara, and their 2-year-old daughter, Sophia, on the voyage. Zara Briggs was a capable woman, often accompanying her husband on his travels. Little Sophia brought a touch of domestic joy to the rugged life at sea. The crew consisted of 7 experienced sailors, mostly Germans of good reputation. On November 7th, 1872, the Mary Celeste set sail from New York Harbor. Her cargo was 1701 barrels of denatured alcohol, destined for Genoa, Italy. The journey began under fair skies and with a sense of routine optimism. Captain Briggs wrote letters home filled with warmth and affection. He mentioned his daughter was enjoying the voyage immensely. The ship's log recorded daily progress and weather conditions meticulously. The last entry was made on the morning of November 25th. It noted the ship's position as being near the Azores Islands. After this date, a profound and unsettling silence fell over the Mary Celeste. 10 days later, another brigantine, the D.A. Gracia, was on a similar path. Her captain, David Morehouse, knew Captain Briggs and was a man of similar standing. On December 4th, 1872, the lookout on the D.A. Gracia spotted a vessel behaving erratically. The ship was yawing, its sails slightly torn and flapping in the wind. As they drew closer, they identified the ship as the Mary Celeste. They hailed the ship for hours, but received no response. A boarding party was assembled, led by the D.A. Gracia's chief mate, Oliver DeVoe. They rowed across the unsettled sea, a sense of foreboding in the air. Climbing aboard, they found the ship that was completely deserted. There were no signs of violence or struggle anywhere on the vessel. The ship was wet and messy, but fundamentally seaworthy. In the crew's quarters, personal belongings were left behind, seemingly untouched. Money and valuables were still in the sailors' sea chests. This immediately cast doubt on the theory of piracy. The captain's cabin was also in order, though some papers were scattered. A sewing machine with a small piece of clothing still in it was found. Sarah's melodeon, a small organ, was in its place. Sophia's toys were found in the cabin, waiting for a child who would never return. The ship's galley was tidy, with ample provisions remaining. There was a 6-month supply of food and water on board. The cargo of industrial alcohol was almost entirely intact. Only 9 of the 1701 barrels were found to be empty. These 9 barrels were made of a more porous red oak, unlike the others. The ship's only lifeboat, a small yawl, was missing. This suggested the crew had abandoned the ship deliberately. The ship's chronometer and sextant, vital navigational tools, were also gone. However, the ship's register and other important papers were left behind. There was over 3 feet of water in the hold, but this was not unusual for a ship of her size. The pumps were found to be in working order, though one was disassembled. A sounding rod, used to measure water in the hold, was found abandoned on the deck. The last entry on the slate in the captain's cabin was for 8 a.m. on November 25th. It seemed the ship had been sailing on its own for 10 days. Captain Morehouse decided to salvage the vessel. He split his crew, sending 3 men to sail the ghost ship. They sailed her nearly 800 miles to Gibraltar. The arrival of the deserted ship caused an immediate sensation. A Vice Admiralty court was convened to investigate the matter. The Attorney General, Frederick Sully Flood, was a suspicious and obstinate man. He was convinced that foul play was involved. He suspected the crew of the DEA Gracia had murdered everyone on the Mary Celeste for the salvage money. He also floated theories of mutiny by a drunken crew. He pointed to what he claimed were bloodstains on the deck and a sword. These stains were later tested and found not to be blood. The sword was found to be a captain's dress sword, rusted and unremarkable. Despite the lack of evidence, the inquiry dragged on for months. The crew of the DEI Gracia were held under suspicion, their reputations tarnished. Ultimately, the court could find no proof of any crime. The salvage award given to the DEI Gracia's crew was unusually low, a sign of the court's lingering suspicion. The mystery of the 10 missing souls remained unsolved. Theories began to circulate, growing more fantastical with time. Some spoke of sea monsters or giant squid. Others whispered of paranormal events or abduction by aliens. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle, before creating Sherlock Holmes, wrote a fictionalized account. His story, J. Habakkuk Jepson's statement, added sensational elements that stuck in the public mind. He introduced themes of mutiny and murder that were not supported by the facts. The truth, however, is likely far more mundane and tragic. One of the most plausible modern theories centers on the cargo of alcohol. The 9 leaky barrels of porous red oak could have released volatile fumes. A buildup of this vapor could have led to a small, non-destructive explosion. This pressure wave explosion would have blown off the main hatch cover but left no scorch marks. Fearing an imminent larger explosion, Captain Briggs may have ordered an evacuation. They would have quickly launched the lifeboat, intending to wait at a safe distance. They might have tied the lifeboat to the ship with a tow line. If the wind picked up suddenly, the tow line could have snapped. This would leave them stranded in a small boat as the Mary Celeste sailed away from them. Another theory involves a faulty chronometer and clogged pumps. The ship had previously carried coal, and the dust could have fouled the pumps. Unable to accurately pump or measure the water in the hold, Briggs may have believed the ship was sinking. Combined with a recent storm and a faulty location from his chronometer, he might have panicked. He may have ordered the ship abandoned, aiming for the nearby shores of Santa Maria Island. But if his chronometer was off, he would have misjudged his position. In this scenario, too, they would have been left to the mercy of the open ocean. Whatever the true cause, the outcome was the same. 10 people, including a small child, vanished from the face of the earth. Their small lifeboat would not have survived long in the unpredictable Atlantic. The Mary Celeste, the ship they abandoned, sailed on without them. She continued to sail for another 12 years under various owners. Her final voyage ended in 1885, in an act of deliberate fraud. Her last captain intentionally wrecked her on a reef in Haiti. He tried to claim insurance money for a non-existent valuable cargo. The scheme failed, and the captain was prosecuted. The wreck of the Mary Celeste was left to the sea, her story already a legend. The ship is gone, but the mystery endures. It is a story of a perfectly sound ship found without a soul aboard. It is a human tragedy, a story of a family and crew lost to the waves. The silence of the Mary Celeste speaks louder than any logbook entry. It is a testament to the unforgiving power and mystery of the sea. The ghost ship sails on in our collective imagination. Her name is a byword for unsolved mysteries. The fate of the Briggs family and their crew remains the ocean's secret. No final message was ever found. No wreckage of the lifeboat was ever discovered. No bodies were ever recovered from the sea. The story is a perfect void, a space for fear and speculation to fill. It reminds us that for all our knowledge, some questions may never be answered. The Mary Celeste is more than a ship. She's a timeless maritime enigma.